Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater. And who knew Venom? Venom would be the little train that could, right? The little engine that could. It just keeps chugging, 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 chugging along to make $500 million worldwide. So, of course, get ready for Venom 2. Yeah. Venom has made $500 million worldwide. And at this point, the sequel is just an inevitability. But we talked about that anyway before. We've mentioned that before when the movie came out and did 85 million, I think. High estimates. It did better than the highest estimates for its opening weekend. All right. I mean, like, that's insane. Venom. The movie, and here's the thing, the movie was fun. I'm not going to lie. The movie was a lot of fun. I had a blast with it. The latter half of it, at least, I think for the unrated cut, they could tighten up a bit in the first act. Second act a little bit, the first half of the movie, cut it down a little bit, add some of those extra 40 minutes that Tom Hardy's talking about, and then play around with it a bit more. I mean, obviously a sequel is going to be coming, but the question is, what kind of sequel is going to be coming? The fact that Sony hasn't announced it yet, that to me is interesting because the article on MovieWeb goes on to say, Sony made a deal with Marvel Studios a few years ago to allow for Spider-Man to appear in the MCU alongside the Avengers. This led, of course, to Spider-Man Homecoming, as well as the appearance in Infinity War. But that left Sony with literally hundreds of characters tangentially related to Spider-Man that were just collecting dust. So starting with Venom, they began to develop movies based on some of these characters in hopes of creating their own little Marvel spin-off universe. So far, at least from a financial point of view, that's going pretty well. Next up, they intend to make a Morbius, a living vampire movie with Jared Leto set to star in the role. So as for Venom 2, expect Sony to make some sort of formal announcement in the relative near future. Tom Hardy has previously revealed that he signed a 3-picture deal, so that won't be an issue. The post-credit scene from Venom also helped set up the villain for the sequel, which is going to be Carnage, played by Woody Harrelson. Much like the Transformers franchise, it doesn't really matter what critics think to some degree. The only lesson Hollywood really cares about is the money lesson. Would Sony like critics to be more on their side the next time around? Sure, but from their perspective, why fix what isn't broken? And that's true. Why fix what isn't broken? And even though people going into Venom thought it was going to be broken, the critics tore it to shreds, but the audience is sitting at a 78%. On Rotten Tomatoes. The audience is sitting at 78%, which here's the thing, real quick. If you guys want me to start doing a series where I look at audience reactions the weekend after a movie comes out, but as well as doing the RT recap for what critics are saying, let me know, because I definitely want to get your thoughts on that one. But anyway, so looking at this idea, looking at the concept of what Sony's doing with this, with their own little spin-off universe, and why there hasn't been a formal announcement just yet of Venom 2, but we did hear, and I was busy and I didn't get a chance to cover this, that Spider-Man will be appearing in Morbius, right? That Tom Holland will be appearing in Morbius, and also Kraven the Hunter apparently is getting his own movie. That was some news. I don't know how true it is. I heard it kind of floating around, but no one seemed to refute it. But then also no one seemed to like completely lose their shit over it either. So I have no idea. So we've got that situation bowling right now where you've got Sony, and this is Tom Rothman and Avi Arad and Amy Pascal, 3 people who should not be working in Hollywood, but they are, and they have a success on their hands here accidentally, by the way, accidentally successful. So let's watch them find a way to screw it up. Have this very interesting situation they find themselves in. Why? Because they are able to hold Kevin Feige's nuts over an open fire in regards to Spider-Man. Like I've talked about this before, Feige wanted nothing more than for Venom to fail. I guarantee you, publicly he'll be like, oh yeah, no, good for them, good for them, good for them. But privately, he wanted it to fail, because if it failed, it would put Marvel one step closer to optioning back the rights for Spider-Man. Sony being in a dire financial sense because they can't make good movies to save their lives other than this. Recently, by the way, they've had a lot of problems, theatrical box office returns, that they're having issues with all that stuff, and they could easily come in and buy back the rights. Now, the reason why I'd say this is because in the 2000s, or in the 90s, when Marvel was fledgling, they sold the rights of Spider-Man and all these characters to Columbia, right? They did. But when Columbia and Sony hit hard times a few years ago, they sold back the merchandising rights to Spider-Man to Marvel. So that's one of the reasons why that Kevin Feige wanted this deal with Spider-Man to be in the MCU, because of the merchandising rights, all the extra green, the extra paper, right? And the thing is, Pascal knows that. So Pascal at this point is the person holding the cards. Her and Tom Rothman are going to be the ones holding the cards over this. I think that's why we haven't seen a specific, I should say, a Venom 2 announcement yet. They want Venom 2 to take place in the MCU proper. That's what they want. The thing is, they'll work with what they've got. They've got this little universe, right? This little, you know, globe universe sort of thing happening here that they got in their hands, snow globe universe, right? That they can use, and they can play with and everything else. But what they want is they want that big money. 500 million for Venom 2 is good. Venom is good, but they want $1 billion. They want to hit that $1 billion mark. They want to make 800 million to $1 billion on these movies. They want to do better than Ant-Man and the Wasp. You know what I mean? They want to do better than these other films have done. And they have a position where they can sit there and use Spider-Man as a way to move it in there. And PG-13 Venom actually did 500 million worldwide. Nobody wanted a PG-13 Venom. Nobody wanted it, but it did 500 million worldwide, showing that it is financially viable. As I just talked about with Deadpool, and the PG-13 audition for what this new cut is going to be for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this was what it is for Venom 2. So, but they're in a better position than the Deadpool team because they can negotiate. They can negotiate. They can sit there and go, look, you want Spider-Man? Cool, we'll let you use Spider-Man. But he's got to bring his friends, right? It's kind of like the situation where you're like, oh, you want to go hang out with this girl, but she's going to be bringing her dorky younger brother Charlie around. And he's like, great, because he's got, you know, scoliosis and dandruff really bad, you know, like it's that situation, but he's got a lot of money, so he'll pay for things. I think that's where they're going to go. I think they're waiting on an announcement. They're waiting on a formal Venom 2 announcement until they can talk to Feige and get that deal in place. And even then that's going to be delayed, I think, because of this Fox deal. So there is a lot at play right now. This is all my theories, all my speculations. I could entirely be wrong, and I'm okay with that. But I get hyped up talking about this stuff, and so this is where my mind goes. So I'll have to wait and see what happens with that, but I am curious to know what you guys think. Be sure to let me know down in the comments. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been 3 Buck Theater. If you guys made it this far, please type in Venom 2 in the chat so I know you guys made it. Thumbs up the video, subscribe. Check back often for more content from me. Have yourself a great day, guys, and peace out.